First and foremost, I would like to say add a link to the link in, I mean, add a donation and a link in the description. Make sure you donate to my channel. My channel is currently advertising, promoting donations to the 1,000 Million Foundation. So feel free. Don't confine yourself. But most importantly, the Novavax vaccine is going to be shortly approved for emergency use by Food and Drug Administration in the third quarter. This is my understanding. Third quarter, not the third quarter would be January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. July, August, September. That would be the third quarter. So it's my understanding that's when the Food and Drug Administration is going to hear Novavax's request for emergency use for a vaccine in the United States. Is my understanding. I don't have the specifics on the issue where I'm implementing the information on a gavel plaque shortly. No less of a place is going to be the chemistry that I'm composing, so that once it is approved through the Food and Drug Administration, it'll be present on the gavel plaque instantaneously. It won't be a delay. So should anything change, like they denied Novavax, which I doubt seriously, because it sounds like a reputable company, 90% proven effective, it should be approved. The situation should have a gray area within reason of the time it would take for, like, the Food and Drug Administration. If it's emergency use, it should be urgent now if people are dying. But that's the process they're using. That's what it's going to be. So Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson are certainly on a usual path with the vaccine situation in the United States and the world. Even the world alike, even they've went further to distribute vaccines to Taiwan. Taiwan recently received a large amount of doses to help assist in the pandemic in Taiwan. So them giving thanks for the help. They showed up in the news, thanking the United States for supporting the efforts in the fighting against COVID-19 in Taiwan. Now, the 1,000 Million Foundation is taking donations, and the link is in the description. If you click on the description, the link in the description, you scroll down. You can view the website. It's a website once you click on the link in the description. But you click on the website, you click on the link in the description, you go to the website, you scroll down. There's a yellow button that says donate. You click on the yellow button, and the process it prompts you through the process. The donations range from $1 to an unlimited amount of money, depending on how much you support the distribution of Novavax, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and the major distributors of the vaccine, FedEx, UPS, and United States Postal Service. They don't collect any of the monies. The monies is in support of me composing the chemistry on a plaque and distributing and guaranteeing that once the monies are afforded to me by the government, that the chemistry that I compose would be in no less of a place. I'm seeking funding from the government is my intention. But these are reputable companies. These are not bootleg companies hooked up, some on a gavel plaque. The gavel plaque would represent the gavel plaque will represent the equality and fairness of the distribution of the vaccine. Saying that to say, if you receive a vaccine, you won't be without a stimulus check. If you receive a vaccine, you won't be without food. If you receive a vaccine, you won't be without transportation, clothing, housing. The list goes on. And having a vaccine is one thing, but if you oppressed into having bad health without the stimulus check or similar processes that aren't currently implemented in the process, but implemented on the gavel plaque, you wouldn't want to contradict having a vaccine, getting a needle, and not being healthy. You wouldn't want to be redirected some other kind of way from being healthy. You have a bad diet. You want the gavel plaque is going to guarantee that the unfairness or the unfair distribution of the vaccine is a little more guaranteed than it has been. When they initially distributed the vaccine, it was based on the demand for it. The demand could be a crowd of people saying, "Hey, I want the vaccine. I want the vaccine," and you don't have any particular order. You just say, "All right, here's yours. Here's yours. Here's yours," and it never has any particular direction. So I'm going to make a comment in the comment section. I'm having problems with this information showing up through a replay. I'm having some issues, but it appears to be functional. It appears to be functional, so I'm just going to continue to it appears to be functional. I'm just going to leave it the way it appears. It appears to be functional, and I'm just reviewing what I just did because it's showing up a certain way on my screen, but you probably can't see the same thing. It's just showing up a certain way. But listen, like I was saying, the process is guaranteed with the gavel plaque representing a particular order that the vaccines are distributed and who will be the carriers of the vaccine: FedEx, UPS, and United States Postal Service. And without being funded by the government, without being acknowledged or accepted by the government, this process wouldn't be implemented into the mainstream. It's completely not Food and Drug Administration affiliated until its actual acceptance through Congress. Whatever process would be protocol, and to the procedures being acknowledged as formal. Just because you come up with a process doesn't mean that it's automatically going to be accepted. Same way that the vaccine, you come up with a 90% vaccine. Moderna came up with 94% effective. Their vaccine was 94% effective. They still had to go through the Food and Drug Administration to approve its emergency use. The Food and Drug Administration is responsible for information being directly distributed to the people, whether it's food or medication or whatever type of information you're attempting to distribute to the people. It has to be approved by the Food and Drug Administration. That's just a process that you can't just compose a chemistry, is my understanding. and it just be a chemistry introduced into the mainstream. But I guarantee you, a gavel is a gavel. When I'm saying a gavel is a gavel, judges uses gavel, Congress uses gavels, every form of law applicable organizations use gavels, and the consistency of a gavel, it represents the law. It represents the application of the law. And when you have that tool in the process, a gavel, it ensures the judgment process. There's some this judgment calls being made. There's decision making being made. So when I composed the chemistry and attempted to introduce it into the mainstream, it's not automatically being accepted. I made a number of videos, Vaccine 911, Vaccine 911 Part 2. And what I did was I uploaded the videos to YouTube, to my YouTube channel, Platinum Members by Dolla50. When I uploaded the videos to Platinum Members, they struck the content from my YouTube channel. And when they did that, I didn't appeal. I just left it as it was said. But my process was a sight to be seen. It was like they said what they said, but they weren't Food and Drug Administration. They said what they said, but they weren't Congress. They said what they said, but they wasn't Center for Disease Control. So when they wasn't none of those organizations, I didn't even talk to them. I didn't even respond. I just accepted the content strike and left it like that. And my content was based on going to Washington, D.C. by Amtrak, by way of Amtrak, via Amtrak. And in the face of Amtrak's entrance is a time clock. What I did was I made a vlog of myself and introduced the gavel plaque with the composed chemistry on the front of the plaque. And what happened was the vlog went well. Everything was 100%. It's never been done before in the history of the pandemic. And when it was never done before in the history of the pandemic, I went further. I had a successful trip to Washington, D.C. I gained access to the Capitol grounds, and it was fenced off. But being fenced off, it's not completely fenced off. Like, that's the immediate vicinity of the Capitol grounds that's fenced off. The Capitol building is fenced off, and the lake, the monuments, the nearby monuments, everything is not fenced off. So you got the Congress people. They may have lunch by the lake. They may be walking in the vicinity of Congress, as opposed to just only being on Capitol grounds. So what happened was I met a congresswoman, and she accepted the business card that I was distributing with the vaccine and the stimulus checks on the same business card. This is important because she said she'll take it inside and introduce it to Congress. When she did that, she made sure, she received the card, is my point. She received the card, and the card was taken into Congress from that point on. She was at the lake portion of Capitol grounds. So when she accepted the card, it was within reason of me handing the card out to other people, and they accepting the card. I had a couple of people not want the card. I had one person not want the card, just gave the card back. But that wasn't what I was doing. I wasn't making people take the business card. My implementation of a stimulus check and vaccine was my intent. And they got to Congress, and they heard my case, and they know it's in circulation. They're attempting to possibly use the information without acknowledging me in the process, but it's not working. It's not working. The process is flawed because I went through Staples. I went through a copyright process. I uploaded a PDF, and it was copyrighted written by Staples. The process is impossible to hack into. So Congress wouldn't just be able to just take my business cards and start distributing the process, distributing the vaccine and stimulus checks in the same place without accepting my chemistry being implemented into mainstream. My idea is patented, copyright and patented by Staples. Staples has the information copywritten there. You wouldn't be able to take it and start just administering the vaccine with a stimulus check without acknowledging me. It shouldn't even be a thought that will be considered at this point. But it appears that that's what I'm up against. I'm up against Congress directly attempting to abandon who I would be and implement the process of distributing the vaccine. Well, they haven't appeared to do it, but they haven't acknowledged me either. I received content strikes by YouTube, and I don't know where they came from. I don't know who was responsible. I just know that the acknowledgement, there's a lack of acknowledgement present. Now, the situation where someone was hacking into my account, I want everyone to know that this is a serious issue. The person is present now. This is a serious issue. I'm not going to keep arguing back and forth with some character that's accessing my account with this level of information transferring. You can see my concern. When I'm talking and conveying this level of information, someone's showing up every time I make a broadcast. As soon as I turn on the live broadcast, there's a delay between them accessing knowing exactly when I'm live. But it's like they know when I'm live in a way that a subscriber knows when I'm live. So I addressed it to that person. I didn't go to people that didn't know who it was. Or I banged on them a little bit. I banged on them. So they felt my presence, and most certainly it was an experience, and it's soon to manifest itself. Like right now, I'm going to make a comment. Look at that comment. I'll make sure. What I'm doing is, well, I can't say what I'm doing actually. I'm just making sure the information transfers to the replay. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure it replays, because it's not replaying when I post a comment. I can't see it on the replay. When you may see it, you may not see it. I don't know what this person is doing. Whatever it appears to be something that this person is doing to my account that I can't. It could be a YouTube affiliate or something. I don't know who it is, but it's something that the person is doing to my account, accessing my account, and then I can't see what I'm doing on my own account. Like they have some type of delay in between what I'm doing on my account, because they have access to my account without having reason to have access to my account. Every time I go live, the person knows I'm live. Like they got my account in front of on their screen, and whenever it shows up live, they just click on my account. But not changing directional content of my conversation. My content of conversation, it sounds a certain way on my thumbnail, and I'm going to maintain the consistency of my conversation. I'm not going to be distracted by somebody's, haphazard practices and access to my account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the subject. The subject is going to be now stimulus checks. Stimulus checks are in the process of being reviewed, and the process is going before Congress. Congress, the president just made a decision to he what he did was he talked over with Senate to review it, like the specifics of a bill that was being introduced, and the bill that was being introduced is I don't recall the exact name of it, but it's a bill being introduced, including the stimulus check being distributed, and they come into some logical conclusion with the process. Because when I exercise my when I exercise my First Amendment rights to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, explaining that my account was being accessed by unwanted audiences, all that's probably in the equation. People trying to access monies being afforded for the distribution process of the vaccine, and then it's a food fight type chemistry presenting itself every time a bill is passed. When monies are appropriated, people that aren't distributing vaccine, possibly the one that's in this audience here, is trying to access monies or trying to access information I'm attempting to access before me by accessing what I'm saying now. So, I have to be wise. I have to be smart about this situation. I've never been in a situation where somebody's in the audience right now and I don't agree with them. I've never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with somebody having access to my account. As soon as I, go live and not a subscriber, anybody could be in your audience, sure. But every time I go live, the person clicked on and I could see the person click on. Every time I go live, every single time. And I don't know if it's a YouTube specialist, I don't know who it is. So, saying that to say the stimulus check process shouldn't be hindered or in any way because that's before me. That's in my situation. My situation does reflect the stimulus check process because I'm attempting to implement the business cards being introduced where the stimulus check and the vaccine are in the same exact place. Now, if I have any obstacles or delays with my comments transferring and on the replay, anything could be an issue. Anything could be an issue. I don't know exactly what delays would be present with somebody accessing my information and my information get redirected to them be on a replay. They know when my comments are being displayed and I don't. It could be anything. So, saying that to say, that's where the stimulus check situation is going. It should be resolved by June, the end of June. This is the end of June actually. Today's the 24th, so we're talking at least the end of June. Sure, I doubt if it make it to July. We probably have a stimulus check by July, in my estimation. It could be mid-July. I don't know exactly what the specifics are at Congress. They got everything blocked off. The Capitol grounds are fenced off. You can't access the grounds the same way. You don't know exactly what the Congress people are doing. Where you had access, the access that was present before the fencing situation presented itself was you can just ask the congressperson, when is the stomach check going to be issued? And the congressperson will have the option to say what they thought, not exactly what it would be, but have some type of idea what the process would suggest. Now, as far as the vaccine affecting people, some type of adverse effect, the vaccine appears to be in a good place. They supposed to be making a pill. The pill that's supposed to be made is supposed to be made by not Pfizer, Moderna. I believe the pill was going to be made by Moderna. It was some talk about a pill being made. Now the pill, you saying what would a pill do? A pill would be easily administered. Like you can buy pills at CVS, but when you go to CVS to get the vaccine, you have to have a pharmacist or a medical representative administer the vaccine, while a pill you might be able to get the pill over the counter. Saying that to say, if you can get the pill over the counter, you can have the pill distributed at Amazon, places where it would be more accessible. What was my approach? I had attempted to implement a process where the pill would be distributed at Amazon, and to link up with Amazon in the distribution process, but they never approved the pill. When I attempted to do that, when I found out they was making a pill, when I found out they was showing up with a pill to the process, what I did was I began saying, Amazon should have access to this pill, and the people would then further have access, and the people at spring break, which was the situation at the time, would have access to the pill right after spring break was over. But it didn't happen. It was like a process that was that was overlooked. It was a process that was overlooked, and when it was overlooked, it just went by. The situation just went by. It wasn't talked over in Congress. It wasn't reviewed in any way. So the process is what it is. I mean, the situation is what it is. Some of these situations present themselves, and it's nothing you can do. Now, somebody was curious about the channel car situation. The channel car is an ongoing level of resistance. I didn't make the purchase. I never made the purchase. I went to Chicago Motor Cars, attempted to make the purchase by way of, teaming up with Chicago Motor Cars. I make videos. I make car videos. I try to team up with Chicago Motor Cars to make car commercials and videos for the company. And what happened was, I got bounced around and never talked to the owner. When I never talked to the owner, and that portion of buying the vehicle wasn't guaranteed, I went another direction. I said, well, Nancy Pelosi is not redirecting my funding, but she's not applying herself to my situation where I've assisted in the process of distribution, and I've yet to be awarded the monies attributed to assisting in the distribution process. So I went that direction. So I didn't depend on my YouTube status. I didn't depend on my status in hip hop, my established presence in hip hop. I didn't depend on nothing else I was doing. I just went I went in that direction and said, well, if I'm distributing the vaccine and stimulus checks on Twitter, then I certainly supposed to be compensated for the difference. You know, FedEx has been compensated, UPS has been compensated, United States Postal Service has been compensated, Moderna has been compensated, Pfizer has been compensated, and Johnson & Johnson has been compensated. And when Johnson & Johnson reached to a fork in the road where they had some type of situation where people were getting blood clots from the vaccine, I went to Twitter. I said, listen, Johnson & Johnson, I understand your situation is what it is, but I have this Bible right now, and I'm going to put hearts, clubs, spades, hearts, clubs, diamond, spades, and I'm going to put summer, fall, winter, spring in the same place as heart, clubs, diamond, spades. And I'm going to number it 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put the time of day on one page and the time of day on the next page, and connect the bottom portion of north, south, put north, south, east, and west on each time of day in the format of a clock. And when I put north, south, east, and west on the same page as the format of the clock, put it on the next page of the format of the clock, and go from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock from one page to the next with the every suit and a deck on the top portion of the page, so that both pages are in the same place simultaneously. When I digitally transfer that information through Twitter, it creates a platform. It creates a level platform for the vaccine to be corrected. That's what I did with Johnson & Johnson. Now, when I did that, it was instantly. I didn't wait around and say, well, what do we do? They're getting blood clots, and I'm assisting in the process on Twitter all through the night, all through the day with Hearts Club, Diamond Spade. My information is based on the information getting to the people, but it's with a precision. It's with a Novavax-Plaque consistency. And, you know, if something's wrong and the process is just running like a conveyor belt, that's not real for the people. When something changed with Johnson & Johnson, I set up a platform, said, listen, go this way. Distribute the vaccine from here and try and correct whatever chemistry that needs to be corrected. Moderna's not going through that. Pfizer's not going through that. Refer to them if necessary. Duplicate that vaccine before you make a vaccine that's hypothetically, it's all hypothetical. Duplicate that vaccine like a franchise situation before you just, you know, make the same vaccine without correcting the same issue. So creating that platform, you know, for them to say, well, we have a fork and we're reaching a fork in the road where we having people complaining and, you know, going in the direction of, you know, all right, let's go this way, let's try this way, because it's 4 seasons, it's day and night, it's every suit in the deck, it's 24 hours in a day, it's north, south, east, and west. It's all there. It's all there. It's the process, the complete process, the complete package. So when I did that, I was never awarded any monies. I was never complimented. I didn't receive anything. So saying that to say, I have a donation link in the description, and people have the opportunity to donate. They have an opportunity to say, well, I'm not going to depend on that either. Donate. In the channel card that I'm trying to get, I can just purchase a channel card outright. You know, when you see me making an extra effort to purchase a channel card, I'm not asking for nobody to give me anything. I work for my money. You know, when you show up giving me money, supporting what I'm doing, it's within reason of the work being done. I'm asking money in a sense that you don't have to donate, but when Congress is listening to what I'm saying to some extent, they're not giving me anything if they were to donate. Food and Drug Administration is not giving me anything if they were to donate. These organizations like Center for Disease Control, they receive money from the government. When they pass a bill, Center for Disease Control receives money from the government for the assistance in the distribution process. FedEx receives money. UPS receives money. Postal Service receives money. Moderna receives money. Pfizer receives money. Johnson & Johnson, despite the challenges, they receive money from the government. They receive money from the government, and when they don't acknowledge me in any way, and I'm making this broadcast, they listen to my broadcast. They see the consistency, but they won't acknowledge my presence. They won't acknowledge my presence, and when this one person gets the attention of me throughout this broadcast, I don't know if it's a foreigner. I don't know who it is. In one broadcast, I said this person is a foreigner and hung up. I said this person's not even American and hung up. They could check to see if the person's an American or not. Nobody's even checking to see if the person's a spy from another country or nothing. They just letting the person access my information. As soon as I go live, somebody's recklessly accessing this level of information. Crazy. I mean, you not even identify yourself. Let me put a comment in the comment section. Let me see. It's going to be. It's going to be a real comment. It's not going to be just any kind of comment. All right, so it's a comment in the comment section. Now I'm itching and scratching, and my hat's coming off. And you know what I mean? What I'm saying is transferring, but it's like with a challenge of my head scratch itching now. Just take into account, when I'm saying something consistent and when I start itching and scratching, I wasn't itching or scratching the whole time. So when you see these reactions to what I'm saying, it's like somebody's arguing with me without identifying themselves, without being visibly present, should I say. So I would just say I'm gonna post this broadcast on Twitter. You have an option to review what I'm saying on Twitter after you listen to me now, and make sense out of the broadcast for yourself. If you listening to what the person's listening to, or the person's making a live broadcast off my live broadcast until they can't do it no more, I have no idea. But it's going to be posted on Twitter shortly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close with saying donate to the link in the description, which is my website. Assist in the distribution process that way. And the vaccine and stimulus check should be in no less of a place shortly, soon after. Peace.